Guys, no bullshit. I appreciate every last one of you guys tapping into my IG. Like I said, I'm showing you the behind the scenes of what it looks like to level up your social media presence, as well as just, you know what I mean? Just showing you a guy that's just focused on constantly improving, right? And that's what we're all trying to achieve, right? And that's, how to leverage building up a lean physique, building up your body game, so that way you can attract higher quality women, right? Give me a second. So I appreciate you guys. Today, I want to hash out why getting lean makes your single phase as a man make you more dangerous, right? Why does that make you super attractive, dangerous in the best way? See, a lot of guys, what I've realized and what I've been hearing from my coaching calls is that, a lot of guys are in fear of being single. And I'm here to ask, like, what for, right? I think we have grown up in a world where we feel like we have to be in a relationship because that relationship gives us value. And this is, if you guys are not catching it, this is why I say purpose for a man. Purpose. And how do you find purpose? Getting into the gym. The gym starts to rewire this up here. And when you start to see like, okay, I was consistent, showing up to the gym, eating right, going to sleep, taking care of my body, you start to respect what it took to get there. And now you start to be like, all right, well, if I can do this, can I take the same skill sets and move it towards making money, right? Move it towards having a better life, traveling more, having a more attractive lifestyle to attract higher quality women that I actually like, you see? But see, the men who understand what I'm saying, they understand that singlehood can be a wonderful thing. Going through a phase where, you're with your own thoughts, you have your peace, you can go balls to the wall, making money, grinding, getting in shape. You don't have to worry about, breaking your diet because your girl is comfortable. She wants to go have spaghetti and fucking cake and ice cream, right? You don't have to deal with that stuff. So I want to hopefully change your mind about if you're going through a phase right now, especially during the holidays where shit is cold outside. And by the way, my hoodies are on sale. Go pick it up on the website. Don't play with me. But anyway, it's getting cold outside. And, this season can make some men depressed. And if you're in that season, in that phase, I want to change your mind. I want to give you some hope, man. We're walking together. We're walking down this path of trying to develop together. So if that is you, then you want to stay tuned to this message, because you'll understand the transformative season that you're in right now. You see, when you're alone and you're building that lean physique, you're stacking your money, you're building up your social media presence, guys, you are starting to become him. You're starting to become undeniable, right? I see a lot of guys that will spend a lot more time trying to chase, and all they're doing is hurting their sexual market value. Guys, we don't chase around here. We move GQ, masculine, calm, right? What I want you to understand is, how this phase in your life can transform your body. You've seen me transform my body. I'm loving my jawline, guys. I'm loving, waking up feeling lean. I'm loving the energy that I have. Guys, I want you to experience that. This is all natural. No, crazy, steroid gear, whatever. I don't even know if I could say that on here, but the negative stuff, right? None of that stuff. All it takes is just showing up consistently, doing the hard shit. The hard, boring shit is what allows you to have the exciting life that women are attracted to. My behind the scenes, what I show you on social media, on my IG, I'm trying to get you to see the boring shit as well, because it allows you to see, okay, this is really what it looks like. You know what I mean? He just didn't pop out with money. He just didn't pop out traveling. You know, I see the grind. And, you know, for me, when I was on my pursuit of purpose, seeing other men do like, you know, just working, grinding it out in the gym, that motivated me because I was like, okay, I see how they got to wearing, you know, fancy watches, driving, you know, exotic cars, being with exotic women. I saw that and I was like, okay, well, if this is what you have to do, or this is what every day looks like, then I just have to get comfortable with the boring. I have to get comfortable with being consistent, right? And so that's what I want you to understand. But the first way, excuse me, one more thing. Jesus Christ. I got this incense burning over here and it's messing up my allergies. But the first thing that you need to understand, or that we need to tap into today, is reframing your mindset about being in this single phase. Because really, this is your competitive window. You're going into boot camp right now. You're going into training camp before the football season. And see, this is what most men don't understand. Most men will use this singlehood, this single phase, to replace a woman. You're already low value. You don't have shit going on for yourself. You can barely afford a date. Your body looks like fucking mashed potatoes, and you're sitting here worried about trying to get a date with a woman versus, like, I always get this one question. How do I take my mind off a woman? Well, if you're too busy trying to take your mind off a woman, then you're going to think about women. If you're busy focusing on your purpose, focusing on doing something that helps another man or another business, then you're not going to think about women. It's the same thing. If you're trying not to beat or choke the chicken, you can't sit here in November and be like, you know what? I'm not going to do it, because you're going to do it. Instead, if you focus on the things that you do want more of in your life, then you're not going to do the negative things that you don't want to do. All right. Play this back if you got confused, because I'm not going to go back over it. But the reality is, men, we need to reframe how we think about this phase where we're alone with ourselves as a competitive window to advance, to increase, to, you know, become him, right? Strong men use this singlehood to replace their identity. Right now, as a single man, you have no fucking obligations, right? No emotional leakage, no time tax. Because my God, you got to be prepared when you're in a relationship. That shit is taxing on your time, right? And you have full control over your energy, guys. You don't have to worry about if she comes home and she's not feeling right. You know, okay, how can I make her feel good? Even though you had a long day of work, right? This is the season where you rebuild your physique, elevate your lifestyle, right? And you start to grow your brand, guys. That is the important thing. A lot of guys, they look at their life as just, I clock in, I go to work 9 to 5, and that is fucking it, right? And that's not the case. I want you to understand that you are a brand. I've said this before. If you start to approach life differently, like, I am a brand, how I present myself to the world, the people that I follow, who I hang around, the type of work that I do, you will start to attract the type of woman that like that ambitious type of guy. Just going to work, paying the bills. Hey, we all do that. That's nothing to brag about, because the alternative is you can be homeless like how my ass used to be. Right? Me paying the bills is just the entry fee of life. That's not doing anything special, guys. And this is where you guys get a chance to tap in with me and understand how I'm moving in life, how I'm showing up on this camera to communicate with you guys. All right. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm trying to just build the man that I've always desired to become. And all I'm doing is just sharing the blueprint that I live by every day. Right. This is what motivates and inspire you, men, to do the same thing, because you're like, oh, OK, if this guy is doing it and he's at a later age than me, There's no excuse for me, and I'm in my early 30s or mid 30s. If he can do it in his 40s, there's no excuse for me. That's what I'm hoping is going through your head. But if it's not, I'm sorry. All right. But see, like I said, this is the season where you rebuild your physique, you elevate your lifestyle, and you grow who you want to become as a brand. Your mantra now becomes silence plus discipline. That's what equals becoming him, right? Women don't respect men who rush back into relationships because your ass got dumped, because that woman looked at you and was like, I can do better. He wasn't leading. He was too needy, clingy, could barely afford to, go on dates. Guys, I want you to be able to afford to go on dates with yourself. First, take yourself on a trip and get comfortable. I want every man to take a solo trip moving into next year. It doesn't have to be super far away, but I want every man to do something by themselves. I'm not talking about, hey, let's call it the boys, let's do it together. Do it by yourself. If you haven't passed that test, you're not ready to become a man in a relationship, because these women are going to run your ass dry. All right. Let's jot that down if you haven't started your New Year's resolution, that should be at the top, right? Along with getting your body and all this other stuff. Okay. See, because women, they respect the man who is leveling up consistently while no one is watching. No one is watching me behind the scenes. No one is clapping for my ass when I'm in the gym. No one is clapping for my ass, giving me a pat on the back when I decide that I don't want to eat a nothing but bundt cake and some damn ice cream at night. And it's fucking 10 o'clock. And I'm like, damn, I really would like some. Nobody's doing that. But I show up consistently. Now, the next thing after, since now we got the right mindset, we're reframing it the right way, guys. We need to talk about building a $100,000 mindset. Yes, I said 100K, because I feel like as a man, I feel like we come up with excuses as to why we can't make it. Let me give you a little bit of background, guys, in case you don't know about me. My ass was in a marriage for 10 years, got divorced, lost everything, had a 6-figure job, lost all my clients, lost every damn thing, was fat, obese, overweight, had no confidence, no game, skin was looking torn up, no jawline or anything like that, no charisma, slept in my damn car got repossessed, looking like a damn fool. And now, which forced me to say, you know what? I lost every damn thing. I was truly at rock fucking bottom. And I had to wake up and realize that if I wanted to create the life that I am now, which is this whole brand, this whole mantra that we have created called Reframe, which means to become him, then I had to take the effort to change the reality. I had to create something for men to come into so that way they can realize it is fucking possible. And that's what I did. And then the next move was I needed to build a $100,000 mindset. Now, the reason why I say this is because most men, they spend their damn money on coping vices and shit like that. But I feel like $100,000 in the bank liquid allows you to have that, fucking walk away power. That means I don't put up with bullshit. If a woman decide to break up with me, my bank account is still smiling at me, right? My bank account is my best friend. You see, money in the bank allows you to just it allows you to feel something. But at the same time, you wake up and you be like, thank God Almighty, this feels good. You see? And I didn't realize that because I've never had 100K in the bank. But after I did that, after that was my number one goal when I got back into getting my first client. And after I did that, then I was able to because you don't need more than that. The rest of the money should go towards investing, reinvesting back into your business, things like that. You don't need a lot of money sitting liquid into your account. But I think that 100K foundation allows you to just say, I don't put up with bullshit. I can travel when I want to, and I'm cool. Right. See, that is the first real power, guys. And let's dive into three important things you need to understand. The first thing about this, building this 100K mindset, fellas, is stack cash. Stop spending to cope. Again, what I've realized is that a lot of single men, they'll get out here and they'll waste money on dates that they can't afford, fucking comfort food, and you're overweight, random purchases, validation loops, right? You need to have discipline over dopamine. Your bank account is your new scoreboard. Like, let's gamify this. Let's gamify being able to stack cash, guys. Stop working your ass off so damn hard only to get into a mediocre relationship and lose every damn thing. I know you guys play the game of Monopoly. Let's make your life like the game of Monopoly. Let's stack up. Let's put some property on the board. All right? Let's get Boardwalk and Park Place, not Connecticut Avenue. Right? See, the second thing is you don't understand that you got to be born with your money, but then you also have to be interested with your life, and you can do this. You can do both. See, being born with your money is choosing not to go hang out at lounges. I can care less about fucking hanging out at lounges, but I do like, dinners, right? I do like to get dressed up and go have dinners and, maybe watch a game, something that's more GQ masculine level, or take my money and go, travel, go to a cabin and spend time with nature. I know you guys seen me do live streams where I was in a secluded spot in the woods, beautiful view, money well spent, right? See, the financial formula should be, guys, keep your expenses low, income stable, brand growing. You're going to hear me say this a lot because I want you to look at the evolution of this channel, the evolution of who I've become, right? A guy that went from being divorced, homeless, to being who I am now. It is a blueprint, a living blueprint. You can watch my older videos and see how I have evolved from the way I've communicated on the camera. I don't make this shit up. I'm not afraid to fail first. I'm not afraid to get on camera and fail first, and you shouldn't either. So that's why you're going to hear me say brand growing, because a lot of you guys are smart. You guys are making money, but you're just not channeling it in the right area. I'm speaking to some intelligent young men, and I'm super damn proud that you guys are rocking with me, because it lets me know the type of mindset that I have here, that the guys have here. And so I want you to consider every single time that you're posting something, that you're interacting with the social world, you are a brand growing. And keep your investments automatic, guys. Your lifestyle becomes attractive when you start viewing yourself as that person that deserves to attract, right? So, and then the third thing about building this 100K mindset is having this monk-like consistency. Again, the boring is what gets you rich. See, it was the boring that allowed me to get the exotic car. It was the boring that allowed me to get the cars that I have. It was the boring that allowed me to have the females that I've dated. It was the boring that allowed me to do the things that most people can't do, right? To have more freedom of my time. Again, I don't come from a wealthy family. I come from a family where I understand the value of a dollar and hard work. But at the same time, I was ignorant when I was young and I blew that shit. And now I'm having to relearn at a later age. But hey, that's the wonderful thing about life. You get multiple opportunities to get the shit right. Hopefully you get multiple opportunities. Some people don't get it, but I'm blessed that I got mine. All right. So when you're living this monk-like consistency, fuck the relationships, guys. Fuck trying to go through emotional turbulence and just execute on your purpose. To be honest, when I got to 100K, all it took was consistency. It wasn't luck. I just got tired of not having a damn thing to show for the work that I was putting in. I got tired of trying to impress people that didn't give a damn about me in the first place, right? And that's what I want you guys to realize. And, I'm going to be real with you, in my community, in my culture where, all we do is like to show off. I didn't see anybody putting in work that was like, you know what? I'm not trying to show off. I'm trying to have investments. I'm trying to make my money work and make more money. I'm trying to have my money recruit. That's what I want you guys, no matter your culture, skin color, where you come from, your background. All right. We all have things that we can work on as men. And this is one of them when it comes down to building up that 100K mindset. That should be the goal moving into 2026, moving into next year. All right. The next thing, guys, is, and this is big, building a GQ level social media brand, primarily on IG. Right. A lot of us are afraid to get on there because we feel like there's, so much limelight on other people's lives and everything like that. And I'm here to show you that's why I got on, and that's why I created my channel, or not my channel, but my fucking page, guys. It's because I want you to see a different avenue, a different aspect, more real life scenario, right? Behind the scenes, because I'm already providing value on the forefront, but I also want you to see the life on the back end. So that way you can be inspired and do the same things that matches your style, right? That matches your charisma. Women don't follow men because of fucking quotes that you're putting up on your page. Nobody cares about your fucking memes. They follow men who look like they're going somewhere in life. And right now, your IG should feel just like this: GQ, fitness model, entrepreneur, masculine, calmness. Your pillars when you're looking to build your brand should be clean outfits, guys. Nothing chaotic or crazy. Lean physique shots, masculine value posts, disciplined routines, right? Even throwing in some subtle luxury, because that story should say you're a man that's rebuilding himself into something that's rare. And that story alone creates emotional attraction with females. I'm sorry. It just shows proof, social proof. So if you're taking those steps to do those things, then you're starting to become more desired. Women desire men whose life is already moving forward. That's the fact of the matter. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I didn't create the rules. To be desired communicates this one message: I don't need anyone in my life. My life is already rising. And that's the men that I'm building. I want you to always have this thought, is that my life, I don't need anyone. My life is already fine the way it is. I can travel when I want to. My bank account feels good. It's singing to me every day. The birds are chirping. The coffee is smelling stronger. Right? And that's what women want. They want a man on a mission, emotional control, that disciplined physique, quiet confidence, a little bit of that mystery, progress, and presence, guys. Desire is visual, emotional, energetic. Guys, don't let me at 41 outdo you when you're younger than me. Because I'm spitting wisdom, guys. I'm spitting true game. I'm keeping you in motion so that way you can have motion with females. Women desire a man that, everyone else, is kind of like looking at and like, damn, he got his shit together. The man whose physique represents that discipline, whose lifestyle represents and reflects purpose, right? I want you to understand that. Don't you ever forget it. So the biggest thing, though, is how do you get to a point of where you have that emotional, like you're emotionally getting comfortable with being single? Well, the first thing, guys, is you have to stop expecting, some type of emotional stimulation. If you're going out to the club, if you're drinking, doing all this stuff, you need to stop it. You're detoxing from a routine of having women in your life every single day. This is withdrawal, not destiny, right? You're going to have those waves of up and downs and wanting, but you got to fight through it. That's real work. That's a masculine man's journey. Replace emotional void with identity. Your new drug is going to the gym and training, or, posting up stuff of value, or posting up, physique shots that, helps accentuate more of your social presence, social proof, stacking your cash and constantly improving, guys. You're becoming your own emotional hit. The second thing that you need to understand is compete with yourself visually. A lot of guys, you're trying to compete with other people. You're trying to compete with me, which you shouldn't. I hope you're not. I compete with myself. And what I mean by that is weekly photos. You like I showed you a picture of my face being fucking blown up. And then looking at my jawline, I'm like, God, man, I'm never going back to that motherfucker. Never. I'm competing with myself, guys. I was a bum back then. I ain't going back. And that's how you should be. New photos, comparison, leaner physique, stronger presence, guys. Your visual improvements is your emotional improvement. And the last thing about this, getting emotionally comfortable with being single is only date women. If you decide that you do want to date, only date women who don't disrupt your building phase. Because it's important to understand that you are in a building phase, right? It ain't like you've already arrived. You're in a building phase. So if you're in a building phase, if you want to date, that's fine. But be very careful and cautious. If she drains your energy, she's disqualified. Only women who move with your momentum gets that access, guys. That's the important thing to consider. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. All right. That's the important thing to consider, because if you haven't realized your new identity while you're single, here's what you are becoming. You're becoming that GQ, lean, magnetic, disciplined man. You're the guy that's building your brand, building that social proof. You're the guy that's moving into next year, developing that 100K mindset, right? Understanding that it gives you that don't fuck with me type of power. I'm willing to walk away, right? You're a man that that women desire from a distance, because I guarantee you women are going to be looking and they're going to be like, damn, is he single? I admire that. They like when a man is on the move and in shape, right? See, what you are now doing is truly entering your Basivam era, guys. Your become him era. That version of you, that's the version that women, when they meet, they think, how did I almost miss this type of guy? That's the type of energy you should be getting from females. All right. And if you're serious, guys, drop becoming him season, because that's what you're moving into coming out of this year into next year, because now you have this blueprint. Just replay it back. If you're truly ready to use this single phase as your competitive advantage. All right, let's get to work.